What's up, everybody? Master Reactor here, and today I have a replay. Let's see how I'm doing on the ladder first, as I usually do. I am in second. Purple Drunk is way too high. I cannot catch him. Me and Lucas are playing ping pong back and forth. Back and forth. I actually beat him earlier, so that was nice. That video is actually on the channel. So today I am playing against necromancer sorcerer. So he's on go control type deck, I guess you could say. So I throw paper, he throws rocks. So pretty nice start. Okay, that's great. Game 1 is pretty sussy, spoiler alert, but it's fine. So I open Double Thunder Dragon, Chaos Sword, Jar of Greed, Sinister, and BLS. So you already know when you open Double Thunder Dragon, it's gonna be terrible. The odds of you winning is really, really low. So I decided to set Jar and set Sinister and pass. Just to do it is what it is. He's got Goat, Sinister, Snatch, Ring, Sangan, and Mirror Force. So he runs Sangan out. And he sets Ring and passes. I draw into Tribe. So this is when the sussy plays begin. I Jar of Greed. Draw into Upstart. I fire the Upstart. Draw into Solemn. So I decide to flip Sinister. And I summon Tribe. And I use Tribe's effect to discard the Chaos Sword and call Reptile. And it pops my Sinister. And then I just go right for BLS. And I use BLS's effect to try to banish the Sangan. But he has a ring. And instead of ringing my BLS because he has Snatch Steel, that's why he didn't do this. This is why he didn't ring the BLS. He rings his Sangan. So this gives him a Sangan Search. So he gets the Faith. And I hit him for 16. And I set Solemn and pass. He draws into Night Assailant. So he tries to Snatch Steel, and I decide to Solemn Judgment, putting me down to 35 right away. Not that great. And he sets Scapegoat and sets Mirror Force and passes. I grab the Sinister back, and I decide to gamble. I just say fuck it. I run the Breaker out, and I break, and I hit the Mirror Force, so that was great. So this allows me to switch my BLS to attack and swing, and he Scapegoats to save himself. He draws into a Regeki Break, so that was a pretty good draw for him. He sets Regeki Break and sets Faith and passes. I draw into a Deco. He standby phases and pops on BLS, which sucks. Nothing I can do about that. And then I know he's got Faith, so I decide to attack with Breaker. He grabs his Snatch Steel back, and then I hit with the Tribe for 16. And then main phase 2, I use Tribe's effect to pop my own Breaker. And then I tribute the Breaker for a Thunder Dragon face down. And I pass. He draws into a Deco. He grabs the Sinister back. Decides to set Deco and pass. I draw into a Spy here. I grab my Sinister back. I flip the Thunder Dragon and swing. And he draws into Pot of Greed. I set Spy and pass. So there's literally nothing I can do. I mean, even if I thought I had a chance, he Pot of Greed, he drew Tsukiyomi for turn, meta an Upstart for the pot, fires Upstart and Thunder Dragon, discards Thunder Dragon, grabs himself 2 more. He runs a Sinister out, uses the meta, sucks my Thunder Dragon up here, that sucks. And he passes. I draw into MST. I set the MST and set the Deco and pass. He draws to a Scapegoat. He runs Tsukiyomi out, puts it face down, and takes my Deco. And he sets Scapegoat and passes. I draw into a Wing Blast. I decide to just set the Wing Blast and pass. He draws into a Knock. So that's pretty fortunate for him. He grabs his Sinister back. He's got plus gazillion on me, so there's nothing I can really do. But it did kind of get down to the wire, though. Somehow, this deck is just that strong that it can still force plays out and make them do some shit. So I have to Wing Blast 1,000 Eyes here, no choice. And then he draws into the knock. That was unfortunate. If he wouldn't have drew knock there, I feel like I might have had a chance because I was going to MST the snatch. But he hits me for 11 and passes. I have MST and Thunder Dragon. I draw into a Sangan, so that's an okay draw. Get my Sinister back. I decide to set the Sangan and pass. He draws into card destruction, so it's going to get real sick here. He sets Snatch Steal, and he fires the card destruction, so now he's going to draw 5 on my ass. So this is really bad. He didn't use the Night of Sound effect, though. Not that he needed it. He drew into Knock, Chaos Orc, Double Fate, and Solemn Judgment. He fires the Knock, gets my Sangan, sets a Fate, and sets a Solemn, and passes. I grab my Sinister back because I have to. And I decide to MST. And I pick his Solemn Judgment here. So that was a really good pick there. I fire the Pot of Greed. I draw into Book of Moon and Chaos Orc. Decide to set Solemn, set Book of Moon, and set Sinister and pass. He draws into BLS Return. Life points are really low. He flips Faith, and I don't Solemn, and I'm just like, fuck it. He gets the knock. He knocks my shit. Then he banishes the dark, banishes the light, drops Chaos Orc, and hits me for 26. And I take it, and he sets another Fate, then passes. I draw into Faith. I decide to Snatch Steal the Chaos Orc here, just saying fuck it. And I run into the Fate. He takes the 2k. I set my Fate and pass. As you could tell, I've somewhat came back a little bit in this game, some fucking how. He gains 1,000, now he's at 38. If he wouldn't have drew this Solemn Judgment, well, no, it wouldn't have mattered because he had Scapegoat anyway. So this Scapegoat is what really is fucking me here. I decide to Solemn Judgment to Fade because if I don't, he's just gonna get back meta, suck it up. He drops the BLS on me and goes into battle. And I decide to Book of Moon the Stork. And he hits both of them. And I grab the Snatch Steal back. Still trying to fight. He sets the Sinister. And sets the Solemn. I draw into Heavy Storm. So yeah. Matter of fact, if he wouldn't have drew the Solemn, I would have won. Because he wouldn't have been able to play Scapegoat. That would have been sick as shit if he wouldn't have drew Solemn. So that was, again, a really good draw. He had some really good top decks this game on me. So I have to summon the Sword first. This plays around Torrential. And I fire the Snatch Steal. And go into battle phase. He activates Scapegoat. And it is a wrap. There's nothing I can do. That Solemn Judgment was fucking clutch to have. Damn, if he would have never drew Solemn there, I would have got him. But it is what it is. We're going to Game 2. Game 2, I border into a Kaiku, Mind Control, and Trap Dust Shoots. So let's see what happens. In Game 2, I've got Dust Shoot, Snatch, Tribe, Thunder Dragon, Sinister, and Knock. I decide to throw out the Thunder Dragon to grab 2 more. Again, he's got a pretty busted hand here. Pot, Knock, Tsukiyomi, Night Assailant, and Meta. I set the Dust Shoot and pass. He draws Tribe for turn. I fire the Dust Shoot, and I put his Tsukiyomi back. And he Pot of Greeds into Solemn and Scapegoat. He runs the Tribe out, hits me for 16, okay. And he sets Solemn and passes. I draw into another Dust Shoot, so that's pretty nice. Pretty good draw there, I guess. Although I know I'm probably only gonna hit the Night Assailant, but it is what it is. Get some value on it. So I decide to just Snatch Steal. He doesn't Solemn Judgment this. And I hit him for 16. And I decide to tribute his Tribe for a Thunder Dragon. And then I decide to Trap Dust Shoot him here. And I send back the Night Assailant. And he throws out the Thunder Dragon to grab 2 more. And he sets Scapegoat and passes. I draw into a Grateful Charity. I fire the Graceful, and he Solemn Judgments it. So this is still fine with me. He's at 32. I flip up the Thunder Dragon and try to attack, and that is met with a Scapegoat. So main phase 2, I run out this tribe that I've been holding, and I pass. He draws into a meta, and that is the game. There's nothing he can do. So we're on to game 3. That was a quick game there, but damn. Made some pretty good plays there, not gonna lie. So game 3, he's got Meta, Solemn, Fate, Torrential, Card Destruction, and Chaos Sword. He decides to set Torrential, set Solemn, and set Fate and pass. I draw into Pot of Greed. I got Pot, Book, Chaos Sword, Kaiku, Knock, and Thunder Dragon. So I decide to discard the Thunder Dragon. Grab 2 more. This is really good. And decide to Pot of Greed. And he decides to Solemn Judgment again. So alright, he's not letting me use any of my Trinity pieces. I decide to run Kaiku out. He says okay. And I knock. So all my fates are going to go here. I boarded one out, thank God. And I checked it to make sure. And I hit him for 18 and pass. He draws into a Trap Dust Shoot. So he decides to set the meta and then fire Card Destruction here. This is pretty questionable, but it is what it is. So he draws 2. He draws into Tsukiyomi and Scapegoat. I draw into Spy, Breaker, and Snatch. He drops the Tsukiyomi on me and hits, and I decide just to Book a Moon the Tsukiyomi. And he sets Scapegoat and passes. I draw into a Wing Blast. No Sinister engraved or anything, so I decide to flip this Kaiku. He says okay, he doesn't Torrential. And I attack. And it puts the Kaiku face down. Decide to set Wing Blast and set Spy and pass. He draws into a Dust Shoot, which is pretty dead. I draw into a Torrential. I decide to flip the Spy here. And he decides to Torrential this. So I say, okay, that's fine, no problem. I run the Breaker out. And I Breaker break and pick the right one. That was a good pick there. And he Scapegoats me. So I hit one of them, set Torrential and pass. He draws into a Sengen. He sets the Sengen and passes. I draw into Graceful, so a pretty nice top deck. Fire the Graceful, he says okay. I draw into Tribe, MST, and Sakuretsu Armor. I discard the MST and discard the Saku. And decide just to go into battle and swing into the Sengen. He grabs a Night Assailant. He draws meta for turn here. He fires a meta. And I decide to just Torrential this. Just saying fuck it. He sets a Night Assailant and passes. I draw into Solemn Judgment. I run the Tribe out and swing just to get the trade off. Set Solemn and pass. He draws into a Thunder Dragon, so that's pretty dead. He literally has 2 Thunder Dragons and a Dust Shoot. That's it. I draw into Chaos Sword. Banish a Dark, Banish a Light. And that is the game, folks. Another quick match. But this time it was 3 games instead of 2. Really liked the way I played that. Did get a little lucky, not going to lie. But he got lucky as shit game 1. And he Card Destruction me when it was, I don't know, it was pretty sussy to Card Destruction there. I would have probably just, I don't know what I would have did differently in that situation, to be honest. Maybe he had the Card Destruction. Maybe I wouldn't have set the meta. Probably I would have drew as much as I could with the Card Destruction. Maybe it would have been different. I don't know. Maybe he just set the Scapegoat and pass there and don't Tsukiyomi. But who knows? He did what he did. It worked out the way it worked out. I got the W in second place. Hit the like, hit the sub.